I managed to go from expert rank to legend rank, gaining 300 elo in less than 1 day in the Sunshine Cup with this team. So stay tuned, check it out, and let's jump into it. What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're talking about a Sunshine Cup team, and this team was amazing for me. I'm not kidding, when the Sunshine Cup came in last night, I was on 2730 elo, and as of recording this video, I'm on 3030, gained 300 elo in one night to hit Legend rank with this team, so very, very strong. Very, very cool. If you're looking for a team to help you make that push to Legend rank yourself, this might be the team for you, because honestly, it worked out so well for me. So the Sunshine Cup, if you're not fully aware, you haven't played it yet, is a limited meta in the Great League that's currently taking place, and you're only allowed fire, grass, ground, and then normal types. So basically any Pokemon that's boosted by sunshine weather, normal types, everything inclusive except Charizard, which is banned because if you've been paying attention in the Ultra League and Great League in general for the last couple of months, Charizard with wing attack is just broken. It's OP, so they banned it. It does leave a few Pokemon that can take its place, like Talonflame and Moltres, but they're not as strong as Charizard would be itself. Now, removing Charizard doesn't actually balance this meta very well at all. There are still only a handful of Pokemon that very heavily dominate this meta, and that's going to be Noctowl, obviously, Pidgeot, Vigoroth, and a handful of others, but those are the main ones you're going to have to worry about. The meta really revolves around those Pokemon, handling them, countering them, losing to them, etc. Our team doesn't stray too far from that model, but it does take advantage of a few points in how people tend to adapt to these kind of metas, which gave us the edge in enough games to make this aggressive push straight up to Legend rank. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the team with you guys. I'm going to talk you through why I've built it the way I have and why it seems to have worked out so well in this meta. So, on the lead, we're bringing Vigoroth, and that's because Vigoroth is arguably one of the strongest save swaps in this cup overall. There aren't many things that resist its moves, resist its fast moves, its charge moves, and even if there are, the fact that it's the best save swap means that anyone that is bringing something to deal with Vigoroth or having their Pokemon that hopefully can handle it the best are probably going to have them in the back, because they're going to be expecting most opponents to be swapping in Vigoroth out of a bad lead, and they want to be able to handle that, counter it, and keep hold of switch advantage. So putting Vigoroth on the lead means you can catch a lot of those teams off guard and actually get Vigoroth in a positive matchup and then control switch advantage from there. Now, I also applied this logic to the two Pokemon I'm bringing in the back. I wanted a Pokemon in the back that could deal with Vigoroth if opponents tried to swap into mine. I don't want to suddenly get locked into a Vigoroth mirror match out of a positive lead and not know how to deal with that and how to control switch advantage and get alignment where I want it. And that means I'm going to put Pidgeot in the back. Now, Pidgeot isn't the hardest Vigoroth counter in this meta. That's probably Gliscor, but I don't have a Great League Gliscor built. Pidgeot is fantastic in this meta overall, so it seemed like a very safe option overall to go with. You are going to want the Legacy move Wing Attack on Pidgeot or the Legacy move Gust. Either way, you're spending an elite fast TM. It's worth it. Pidgeot is strong. It's strong in the Great League in general. It's a worthwhile build overall for your roster. Not to mention as well, Pidgeot having access to Brave Bird makes it a fantastic closer once opponents' shields are down, and the amount of booms we get with Brave Bird on this climb is absolutely crazy. Plus the Feather Dance debuffs on opponents are very, very useful for just nerfing attack into the ground, and you can just dominate matchups from that point on. Now, the other save swap that we want to be able to handle, and also the other thing that's most likely to come in to meet our Vigoroth on the lead, are the Flyers, Noctowl and Pidgeot, and they have such strong, wide, versatile coverage, there aren't many things to shut them down either in this cup. But the one thing that we do bring that is very, very strong against both of those Pokemon is Unnovan Stunfisk. Forget the Galarian Stunfisk, you don't want to be weak to the counters on Vigoroth. Unnovan Stunfisk is absolutely where it's at in this meta. There aren't many grass types at all to wall it because of the threat from Noctowls, Pidgeots, possibly Moltres, possibly Talonflame. No one's bringing those things. They're so rare in this meta currently right now. So you definitely want the Unnovan Stunfisk. It can survive 2 Shadow Balls from Noctowl very, very comfortably, and you can just go for 2 discharges to knock it out. It's got neutral coverage against pretty much everything else. It can go toe-to-toe with Vigoroth, go toe-to-toe with pretty much anything else that turns up in this cup except stuff like a Bomber Snow and the odd grass type like Trevenant. Like I said, I think I ran into maybe like 4 Bomber Snows overall, and they didn't get lined up with Stunfisk every time, and I ran into 1 Trevenant on this climb, so it wasn't really that big of an issue. And what a team with this kind of versatility allows you to do is sidestep a lot of the rock, paper, scissors that a lot of players are playing into and depending on to win their matchups. So there are the occasional point where I get Stunfisk caught up against a grass type. There is the odd point where I get Pidgeot stuck against an opposing Unova and Stunfisk while the moves are resisted. But overall, let's say you get Stunfisk lined up against Vigoroth instead of a Flyer, it's still a decent matchup for you. Let's say you get Vigoroth lined up against a Flyer, it's still a decent matchup. You get Pidgeot lined up against the Flyers, it doesn't matter. You can play your way around most situations and have ways out. This team is by no means perfect, of course, but it is very, very strong. So if you guys are liking the look of this team, thinking maybe going to give it a go for yourself, why not hit the like button? Helps me out massively in spreading the video around. If you're not subscribed to the channel, only 12% of my viewers in the last month have been subscribed to the channel. Why not hit that button so you get notified when we upload more videos or more cups coming up in Go Battle League. Now, just a quick heads up, I know we're already 6 minutes into the video, but I'm just letting you guys know this is going to be quite a long video if you haven't already seen the video length, because when I make claims of a team getting me up like several hundred points in one go, straight up to like Legend rank, like with my anti-war rain team from last year, I like to prove it and show the battles to show that it's this team that's got me there, nothing else. I'm not bigging up the team that's not worthwhile. This is the one that got me there, and I did have 4 out of 5 wins, 5 out of 5 wins in my sets up until the 2900s. Then I had a 2 out of 5 set, which I'll skip. I had a 3 out of 5 set, which I'll skip. And then the set that actually pushed me up into Legend rank for you guys to see. Because like I said, I like to prove that my team is actually doing what I'm saying it's doing and not just pretending a team is better than it is. Not to mention it gives you guys plenty of battles to see how I'm playing the team, how I'm playing certain situations, how I'm playing the Noctowl lead, how I'm playing the Vigoroth lead, how I'm playing the Pidgeot lead, how I'm playing the Jumpluff lead. Things like that, and just how to actually utilize the team the way that I did to hopefully help you push if you're wanting to use this team for yourself. Now, you might also be thinking, wait, you just said you did this in one day. How have you got so many sets and so many battles in this cup? And that's because here in the UK, the new cups turn over at like 8 PM, 9 PM in the evening. So I saved my sets from yesterday to play in this cup when it first came in. So I had 4 or 5 sets there. And then after midnight, I had some more sets from the next day, which is when I made the push up into Legend rank. So it is more than 5 sets, but was technically in about 5 hours or so that actually jumped from 2700 ELO to 3000 ELO. Now you're going to see here that we are actually about to take one of our very few losses in this set against this double, because we're going to just lose CMP tie here. We are going to have the energy for the Bud Bomb, but they're going to have another Body Slam ready to go. And also for some reason we threw a Thunder Shock rather than the move there. Not particularly sure why that happened, but either way, GG's to that opponent. So let's go ahead and take a look at some situations and matchups. A Bomber Snow lead, absolutely fantastic for Vigoroth. They're going to swap out into the Noctowl, and of course you can absolutely wall this with your Stunfisk. Now you can survive 2 Shadow Balls very, very comfortably here. I mean, my Stunfisk is pretty PvP, IVS, it's pretty decent ranking, but you should be able to survive 2 Shadow Balls regardless, fairly comfortably. If you've got a bad IV spread in particular, maybe the second Shadow Ball's threatening, I'm not 100% sure. You can try and guess that they'll have a Pidgeot in the back as well and save your Stunfisk, but you might struggle to get switch advantage against the Noctowl because it is pretty strong. So I like just to get the Stunfisk in there, make sure we can keep Vigoroth lined up with this Abomasnow. They get an absolutely huge farm down because they're resisting all the moves, and this is going to be quite threatening to Vigoroth, but we're not too stressed. If this is an Energy Ball, which it turns out that it is, it will almost take out Vigoroth. It survives with 1 HP, but we can farm down the Abomasnow with Pidgeot, and we've got an energy lead now for the mirror match. This opponent's Pidgeot is running Gust, and this is bad news for us because this means we're at threat of just being fast moved down entirely. We've both still got 2 shields here, but these Gusts are really going to add up faster than the wing attacks are. It's one of the few situations where Gust is advantageous to wing attack. But we're just going to keep going for this Feather Dance spam because their entire team is knocked out. They can't clear these debuffs. We can. If they throw charge moves at us and debuff our Pidgeot, we're going to be able to clear it on the Vigoroth. We try and catch a move on our Vigoroth, which we don't manage to do. Doesn't matter. We shield this up. We've got the Brave Bird. Our debuffs are cleared. We can just wipe them out, take the win with a 1 HP and a Dream. GG's. Alright, jumping straight on into the next matchup on the lead, we've got Magcargo, which again, brilliant lead for Vigoroth. They're weak to the counter damage. They're going to swap in their Vigoroth to mirror us, and like we said, we wanted something to answer this situation with. We've got the Pidgeot, so we're just going to shield up the first Body Slam, and we're going to go for the Feather Dance. Now, one thing I found is if you swap in your Pidgeot, nobody shields the first move, which I understand because they think they're not going to debuff themselves straight away. But there are a lot of situations where I throw a Brave Bird straight away after swapping Pidgeot in, which is a crazy move because if they shield it up, it puts you in a pretty bad position. But the amount of times you one-shot something that's not expecting it because they figure that you wouldn't risk your Pidgeot like that, it's crazy. Now, we could have thrown a Feather Dance at the Magcargo and debuffed it there, but we chose to try and get to the Brave Bird. Not sure why, we knew we couldn't make it, but doesn't matter. Magcargo comes in, throws an Overheat, gets the second shield. We're 2 shields down, but there's the Noctowl in the back, and we have the classic wall for the Noctowl in the back. So we had positive lead, we had the Pidgeot to control the Vigoroth Say Swap, and we also have the Stunfisk to control the Noctowl. And we're going to be able to dominate this matchup very heavily. You outpace them to the discharges, you can survive 2 charge moves, they can't survive 2 charge moves. So what's going to happen here is they're going to get us very low. They are going to take us out. They should get to a second Shadow Ball and take us out before we get to the last discharge, but then we'd be able to bring in Vigoroth anyway, Body Slam, take them out, and then we would have been able to get to a Bulldoze as well to annihilate this Magcargo. We bait them with the last shield, with the Body Slam, we get to the Bulldoze, we take them out, it's a GG. Okay, Noctowl leads. I found a way to play this lead that I really, really enjoy. So you're going to go straight for a Body Slam when you get there, or you tie it with there when they get to the Sky Attack. Either way, throw it on 5 or 6 counters, no worries. They're probably going to throw a Sky Attack, you let it through. You're going to go for the second Body Slam, and if they don't shield, if they let this through, you throw 1 counter and then swap to Stunfisk. So you swap the second they get to the Sky Attack, and you're going to catch a not very effective Sky Attack on your Stunfisk. And very, very rarely, I think I got punished with a Grass type like twice doing that, because like I said, Grass types are rare in this meta, and they're also not common on teams that have Noctowl leads specifically. So we swap in Stunfisk, we catch the Sky Attack. Absolutely no worries whatsoever. We can do a bit of work on this Vigoroth, which is going to take us out. If the Vigoroths build up enough energy for the Bulldoze, they will tend to throw it straight away. So oftentimes if they build up, I find it's worth a shield, because shielding up that Bulldoze puts you in a very strong position with Stunfisk. And also this is a situation that highlights why Unova Stunfisk is better than Galarian, because there's a lot of Vigoroths, and if you caught that Sky Attack on Galarian Stunfisk instead, you're going to be in a much worse position for handling the Vigoroth that's going to come in with that counter damage. As you can see, they got double in the back, we've got the Pidgeot, they come back in with the Noctowl, they realise they can't win, and they're going to surrender there. So we're going to go speeding out of the 27 and into the 2800s with another 4 out of 5 set. And this next matchup is an interesting one. We had a Swadloon lead from this Legend Rank trainer. I'm ready to get stuck into the matchup, and then they surrender. And I'm not sure if they were just giving me the free win, or if they just didn't want the Smoke to be featured or whatever. But either way, thank you for the win. Always nice to get some free points as well when you're trying to make a push up towards Legend Rank. Next matchup, Stunfisk lead, fantastic for Vigoroth. They swap into Swampert, a very unusual say swap in this meta, but also a pretty safe one, because by the same logic, there aren't many Grass types in this meta at all. We're going to soften up with a Body Slam, bring in Pidgeot, because we know that we can just really farm this thing down entirely. We shield up the first Hydro Cannon, and then realise they get to another one before we get to the Feather Dance, so we just go for a full wing attack down, which we're able to get. And now we're just going to dump Brave Birds into the Stunfisk, because one Rock Slide is going to take us out anyway. There's no point trying to debuff and drag the matchup out. Let's just go for the Brave Birds, get the big damage, and we do. Look how low that Stunfisk is before it throws. It's got a ton of energy, yeah, sure, but one Earthquake isn't going to take out our Vigoroth at this point. They swap out, there's the Noctowl, we've got Unova and Stunfisk, and again, we're down a shield, doesn't matter. Down 1 shield in this matchup, you still win with Stunfisk. Noctowl has to have 2 shield advantage to win against Unova Stunfisk, which is a very, very dominant position for you to be in. And even if they did have 2 shields in this situation, we're able to get both shields out of them with the discharges, and then just land a Body Slam from Vigoroth to take them out anyway. So second Shadow Ball coming through, we're just going to go for this last discharge. We're going to get the shield, we're going to take them out. They're going to shield it up. That's completely fine. They're going to swap out, try and catch on the Galarian Stunfisk. We can bring in Vigoroth. We can shield this up, because if it's the Earthquake, it's the hardest hitting move left in the game. We can survive a Sky Attack from Noctowl anyway. Doesn't matter. We got the Body Slam. We get it off. We take them out. GG. One of the main things this team gets its advantage from is how strong Stunfisk dominates the Flyers, because if you get Stunfisk lined up against Noctowl or Pidgeot, you get such a dramatic advantage that you can overcome being on the back foot from other situations in the game, because then it can put strong neutral work into most other matchups. Okay, Vigoroth mirror match lead. I tend to just play this out and see who wins CMP tie. It turns out in this matchup, the opponent wins CMP tie. That's fine. We're not going to shield for switch advantage. We're just going to bring in Pidgeot for the energy advantage. And we're going to catch the Sky Attack just because we can, because we've got Stunfisk. Another way to play in that situation is to go straight for the Brave Bird. You go straight for Brave Bird against the Noctowl because you can then just swap to Stunfisk anyway and clear the debuff. Doing that in a lot of situations, throwing a Brave Bird, clearing the debuff when opponents aren't expecting the Brave Bird is such a strong technique to go for. Right, the Golok comes in, farms down our Stunfisk. It's a terrible matchup for Stunfisk. Like, Golok is a very spicy pick for this meta, but it really does work out for this opponent. They got Dynamic Punch, which I wasn't expecting, and that's going to cost us this game. If there'd have been another Shadow Punch, would have been fine. But if we'd have shielded up that Dynamic Punch, we had such a dramatic energy advantage, we might have been able to get a Brave Bird through on the Noctowl and be able to take the win. You're going to see we're in a zero shield situation. We're so close to that last Brave Bird, but we don't quite get there. We get farmed down. So close game all the same. GG's. Right, Swampert lead. What is Swampert here to do in this meta, right? It's here to deal with Stunfisk. It's here to deal with the anti-flyers, which means you're staying with Vigoroth because you want to clear the path for your Northern Stunfisk in the back. There's a good chance that they're trying to catch Stunfisk with this thing. If they build up to Earthquake, it's worth the shield. If they go straight for Hydro Cannon, don't shield it because you can survive one. They can't survive one Body Slam plus all the counters. So in the one shield situation, we're going to take switch advantage. They've got Vigoroth. We can bring in Pidgeot, and we're expecting a Noctowl or a Pidgeot in the back because Swampert's an anti-flyer. Anti-flyer, and then they've got the Vigoroth as a say swap. But it turns out they've got Dunsparce, which was, again, took me by surprise. And Dunsparce has Drill Run, which is super effective to us. We don't have a super effective charge move back, but Dunsparce isn't that strong. Drill Run doesn't hit that hard. You can survive two pretty comfortably. They can't farm you down with Rollout because it's such a terrible attack move. And we're just going to keep spamming these Mud Bombs. We're being sure to time it carefully so they don't sneak any free fast moves through, because the main threat here is them getting extra energy and getting to more of these charge moves. We're going to get an extra Mud Bomb here, and then we're going to bring in Pidgeot, because even if they get a Rock Slide off there, we would have been able to survive it just fine. Pidgeot is pretty bulky, and like we said, the Dunsparce doesn't hit all that hard. Alright, your Northern Stunfisk lead. Again, you're going to stay in because you don't want to get Pidgeot lined up against this thing, and there's a good chance that they're trying to cover against the Flyers, which means Pidgeot's probably got a lot of play in the back against this team. So we're just going to stay in. We build up to the Bulldoze before we throw because we want to tempt them to shield as well. We'd like to get shield advantage in this situation, which we're not going to get. We get a Body Slam through. We're going to go for the next Body Slam, which is going to pressure them to shield but not force them, and they can finish us off here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to let it go. You know what we're going to farm down with? We're going to farm down with Pidgeot because we're assuming they're weak to Flyers in the back, and even if they're not, we want to throw a Brave Bird and swap out. So we farm them all the way down. There's the Mag Cargo, which is a good answer to the Flyers, but we're going to go for the Brave Bird. Hits for reasonable damage, not quite half, but it's a nice bit of a chunk of damage. They're going to build up energy and throw. We're going to shield expecting an overheat. We get baited with Rock Tomb, which is absolute worst case scenario. Get the Mud Bomb off, force a shield because it's double super effective. Debuff by Rock Tomb or not, that's going to take them out. We outpace them to the next Mud Bomb. They're going to shield. They do. Now we've got a shield advantage. We can let this go. If it's overheat, it won't take us out. It's another Rock Tomb bait, so they fail that. We're going to outpace them to the next Mud Bomb. They must be weak to Stunfisk in the back because they're just going to surrender there. And it's another GG and another positive set for us. Bouncing our way up now into 2863 ELO rating, and the next lead we come up on is a Swampert once again. And like we said, this is probably here to deal with Stunfisk, so we're just going to stay in with Vigoroth and get it out of the way. We're probably going to get a shield advantage from this Body Slam. That's fine. They've now thrown 8 Mud Shots. This could be an Earthquake. It's worth a shield. Just a Hydro Cannon. No worries at all. They're going to throw the second Hydro Cannon here because they only threw one more Mud Shot. That's fine. We can let that go through. The Shadow Swampert damage is quite a bit more threatening than a neutral, Swampert. As you can see, our Vigoroth is pretty low at this point, but we do have a Body Slam loaded, and we swap out into our Stunfisk to meet their Noctowl, which, as we said, very, very dominant matchup. Absolutely fantastic for us, and we know that the Stunfisk is probably being baited out here. They swap in the Noctowl, pull out the Stunfisk, deal with it with the Swampert. There's a good chance as Pidgeot in the back. We are going to CMP tie, and we're just going to let this go because we do have a Body Slam loaded on Vigoroth, which we're going to throw straight away. They're going to catch it on their Vigoroth, so we were expecting a Pidgeot in the back. But they've got their own Vigoroth. We're going to come in here with our Pidgeot, and we're just going to let the first move go. It's just a Body Slam. That's completely fine. We should get to this Feather Dance before they get to another charge move. That's fine. They might not shield this, which they don't, and that's fine. We're going to survive this. I think we're going to let it go. No, we shield it up. That's fine. Yeah, the Swampert's very, very low, isn't it? Yeah, of course. We can throw a Feather Dance here, get the last shield, and we're confident that we can just beat them down because they're going to need extra energy to take us out that they just don't have. They've left themselves pretty dry. Come with the Vigoroth. We're going to survive a Mud Shot, get to the last Body Slam, take them out, and it's going to be a GG. So let's jump straight on into the matchup against Green BV. What have they got? Vigoroth, Mirror Match Lead, Shiny Vigoroth Flex. And we're just going to do what we said before. We're just going to go for the Body Slams, see who wins CMP tie, and see who actually wins this matchup. We're not going to shield up. We're not going to try and do anything fancy. For the Body Slam, we get a shield out of them, which now makes me tempted to shield this up. But I think we're going to shield this up. We're going to match their shield just to get this Body Slam off since they win CMP tie. That's completely fine. And just see what happens here. It actually doesn't quite take them out. And right, we should have simultaneously KO'd. I don't know if they lagged or if they chose not to throw a fast move so they could get an energy advantage on Pidgeot. I don't really mind either way. I'd rather they didn't lag. That'd be unfortunate if they did because it might have thrown this game a little bit more up to chance. But the fact that they brought in Pidgeot to farm us down means we can lock Stunfisk in against this thing. Yes, they've debuffed us. No, we don't care. We're just going to keep going for these discharges and see what they want to do. If this is a Brave Bird, it still won't knock us out. With CMP tied, the discharge is going to come through and take them out all the same. What have they got in the back? There's not much that can stand up to Stunfisk and Pidgeot with a shield advantage. It's a Noctowl. Opponent's going to surrender. GG. Okay, let's take a look at something spicy, and that's going to be Shadow Nidoqueen. Now, this is awkward. This thing resists the counters from Vigoroth. It's got Earth Power to one-shot our Unova and Stunfisk. It's just not a nice matchup overall. So we're going to throw a Body Slam. They've debuffed us, and now we're going to swap to clear the debuff. The biggest threat from Nidoqueen's play is adding up those defense debuffs so those poison jabs hit harder and harder over time. So we swap in Pidgeot to clear the debuff. They bring in a Vigoroth to meet us, which isn't the hardest counter. We're going to debuff them with a Feather Dance first because we already took a little bit of damage. We're going to throw another Feather Dance, and this is going to mean that we can survive one more Body Slam from this Vigoroth, which is going to be a pretty nice position to be in. No, it doesn't because the counter's going to add up. Silly me. Doesn't matter. Going to take us out. No stress. We're going to farm down with our Vigoroth because this thing's super debuffed. This Body Slam won't KO us at this range. That's completely fine. Now we've got a Body Slam loaded. We've also got our Unova and Stunfisk. They've got Noctowl in the back. We're in completely neutral shield situations here. 2 shields apiece. They're going to choose to take a discharge, swap out to Nidoqueen. That's fine. We're going to bet that it's a Poison Fang. That's a big call there because they did have the energy for an Earth Power. They built up quite a lot after we swapped in our Pidgeot. So that could have been Earth Power. It wasn't. That's completely fine for us. And now we're going to shield up these moves. It's just more Poison Fangs, but it doesn't matter because Mud Bomb is so spammy at this point that we're really going to be able to put some serious work in. We get the shields, we swap to Vigoroth, snipe them down with the Body Slam, and then that's going to leave us with Stunfisk with a shield advantage against their Noctowl. Doesn't matter if they farm us down, the energy wouldn't have helped them there. Going to be a GG. Right, next matchup, Pidgeot lead. As we've said, Pidgeot is pretty scary in this meta. The Brave Bird's going to hit like an absolute truck. We're going to go straight for the Body Slam. We get there before they get to a Feather Dance or a Brave Bird. We get the shield out of them. They've shielded up, so we're expecting a Feather Dance. We're thinking they're going to shield the first one up and start debuffing us. Nope, they're Brave Bird. They absolutely smash Vigoroth to pieces, and then we bring in Stunfisk to farm them down, and they swap in Gliscor. Gliscor's a good answer to Unova and Stunfisk because it's resisting all your charge moves, it's resisting all your fast moves, unless you're running Muddy Water for some reason, but no one's running Muddy Water on Unova and Stunfisk in this meta. But that means that we can clear out what's probably the toughest answer to Stunfisk with our Pidgeot. We've still got shield advantage. We go straight for the Brave Bird, and that's the situation I was talking about. They weren't expecting a Brave Bird. We just swapped in. Why would we do that? We throw another Brave Bird. We annihilate the Pidgeot, and now they've just got Vigoroth left with a shield disadvantage against our Unova and Stunfisk. This is an even matchup. We're just going to go for triple Mud Bomb, because either way you have to land 3 charge moves to take out Vigoroth with Unova and Stunfisk. Either 3 Mud Bombs or 3 discharges, and Mud Bomb is slightly faster to get to, so it's going to save you 1 or 2 counters worth of damage and energy from the Vigoroth to help you win this matchup. The main thing here is that they don't land a Bulldoze, but we've now got double Mud Bomb ready. They don't quite have the energy for a Bulldoze because they are pretty close to one because they baited us twice with Body Slam. Doesn't matter, we get both off, we take them out, we take the win. GG's. And we only won that game because we were able to land double Brave Bird and they didn't expect us to throw it. Alright, this is one I saw a couple of times, Flygon. I don't know if someone made a video or talked about Flygon in this cup. I haven't seen anyone talk about it personally, but I think someone said something about it because I've seen it on the lead a couple of times and it's quite unusual, to be honest. So the way you want to play this out is staying with Vigoroth. You just want to keep Unova and Stunfisk away from this thing, to be honest. They poorly time their charge move, so we can take them out before they get to a second Dragon Claw. A bit later on, you'll see an opponent that throws their Dragon Claw on a bit better timing, and it means that they get to 2 before we farm them down and force 2 shields out of us in that lead matchup. But there, we're able just to go down with 1 shield and make sure we take that thing out, which we're happy to do. We've now got Noctowl against Pidgeot. We go straight for the Brave Bird because they got 2 shields. Why would they be expecting that? And it means we can absolutely obliterate them. Now here's the scary business. They got Blaziken in the back. Blaziken, again, pretty unique pick for this meta. Doesn't like the flying damage, but has pretty devastating attacks for pretty much everything. Everything's got to be scared of this thing. So we're going to bring in Stunfisk. We're not going to shield this up. We're praying it's not a Brave Bird, it's just a Blaze Kick. And even though Brave Bird's resisted, it would hit like a truck. It would hit harder than the Blaze Kick for sure. Going to get a Mud Bomb. They're going to let it go through because they realise that by us not shielding that, we're going to get to enough charge moves to finish them off, and it's a GG. Now that 5-0 set is going to push us up to 29-33 elo, but after this set, we went 2-3 and dropped down about 15 points, and then we had another 3 out of 5 set that put us back up to 29-35 elo. So I'm skipping that set in the middle. I'm going to continue on from 29-35. I would have included the sets, but honestly, I just didn't want this video to be an hour long. It's going to be quite long as it is. So next lead, Noctowl. As we've said, the way we're playing this out, we're going to throw the Body Slam, and after the second Body Slam, which we're going to throw as soon as we get to it, you throw 1 counter and try to catch a Sky Attack on Stunfisk, and we're just going to see where the game goes from there. So we build up to the Body Slam, we're going to throw, do they shield, right? Big question. If they shield, they don't, they let it go through, 1 counter, swap, catch the Sky Attack. Neutralizes the energy. You are giving up switch advantage, but it's unlikely there's a grass in the back. The most common thing you pull out is Vigoroth, like this one here. We're going to go for triple Mud Bomb because 2 discharges aren't going to kill. You need, 3 charge moves no matter what. So you might as well go for the Mud Bomb, save some energy. If you really feel like you want it to be closer to farm down range, you could try and get 2 discharges through. But honestly, I just think go for the double Mud Bomb because, well, triple Mud Bomb, it pressures them to throw a little bit sooner against you to try and take you out. We realise they're very low. We can swap out, snipe them down with our Vigoroth and deny what energy they have on it. And now in the back, they've got their own Galarian Stunfisk and they're snipers. Their snipers down deny a Bulldozer's worth of energy on Vigoroth, which is absolutely horrendous for us, right? So now we're down 2 shields. They've still got 2. We've got Pidgeot locked in against Stunfisk. We're going to go for the Feather Dance. We need to debuff this thing to hell. It's the only chance we have in this game right now because the only advantage we have is that Stunfisk is their last Pokemon. There is nothing else on their team. They can't clear these debuffs. We swap into Stunfisk to try and pressure them to either throw extra energy or to make them misjudge our energy, and we get 2 Mud Bombs off. That's absolutely amazing for us before they take us out. And this means now that this Stunfisk is pretty low. They're in range for a Feather Dance and a Brave Bird. And you know what they can't do now? They're quadruple debuffed. They can't take us out with 2 Rock Slides. They need a 3rd Rock Slide to finish us off. The Mud Shots aren't going to take us out. We're going to race to this Brave Bird. Look how low we are. We're taking the Mud Shots. We get to the Brave Bird. I think it's just as they get to the Rock Slide as well. So super close game. We take them out. We take the win. Timer's coming up and everything. GG's. Now, I know a lot of these leads are very, very samey, but that's just this cup. The majority of this cup is your Vigoroth, your Noctowl, your Pidgeot, your Stunfisk. Like, it's just the same stuff round and round. But like we said, it's worth reaffirming how these matchups play out. So, same plan. Noctowl lead, we take the Sky Attack, they take a Body Slam. If they take the second Body Slam, we catch the Sky Attack on Stunfisk, right? Easy enough. Throw the Body Slam, they don't shield, one more counter, swap to Stunfisk, they throw a Sky Attack. It's very, very predictable at this point. It's a very nice advantage we put into. This opponent's got a goddamn Diggersby. What the hell are we going to do against a Diggersby? That is bad news for Stunfisk, absolutely. The Earthquake's going to obliterate us. This thing's so bulky it can take Mud Bombs all day long. This is just a bad situation in general. We would really need Vigoroth to be able to put some serious work in on this thing for us to have a chance of winning. We take the chance that it's a Fire Punch bait. It's not. It absolutely wipes us out. We need to put some work in here. We're going to choose to bring in Pidgeot because we figure, you know what, we can just go. We're going to take these Fire Punches for a start because it's not that threatening. They try and CMP tie Fire Punch with our Brave Bird, which we're glad we didn't do. We're going to throw a Brave Bird. It's either going to take them out or they shield up and we can swap to Vigoroth. They let it go through. We take them out. Absolutely perfect. Vigoroth, Mirror Match in the back. We don't quite get a Body Slam off, which is absolutely awful for us. And we're just going to go straight for the Brave Bird. They either don't shield and it takes them out, which they do shield, and now we get farmed down. There's not much. We had to Hail Mary because the Feather Dancers weren't going to do enough work in the meantime to get us enough energy to throw extra charge moves anyway. So not much we could do there. GG to the opponent. Shadow Swampert lead next. As we've said, they throw a Hydro Cannon, let it go through. That's completely fine. They didn't build up to Earthquake. They try and snipe us down with their own Vigoroth after landing the Hydro Cannon. We bring in Pidgeot. No worries at all. We're just going to start debuffing this thing and just see where to go from there. Second Body Slam coming through. Not a stress. We'll shield up the second one. That's completely fine. And we decide, you know what, actually, screw the debuff. They're not going to shield up. They're going to expect a Feather Dance. Bang! Right, Vigoroth's gone. We've still got energy. We're nearly at a second Brave Bird. Unova Stunfisk comes in. You know what Unova Stunfisk is good for? A Brave Bird. Bang! Now, it's not so much a bang. It's as much as a little slap. But you know what? Damage is damage. We need all the work we can get on this thing. Unova Stunfisk Mirror Match. We're better off with our Stunfisk here than against the Swampert. And we can both take Mud Bombs, but it means we can put plenty of work in to get this thing low enough, take it out, and hopefully Vigoroth can just handle the Swampert in the back, even though at this point they do have shield advantage. But we're going to win the Stunfisk Mirror Match. They're putting it all on Swampert, which means we can get a Mud Bomb, force a shield. They can't farm us down entirely in this situation. We're very tough for them. We've got Vigoroth. We've got 2 Body Slams loaded here. If they don't have 2 Hydro Cannons, we're going to get both these moves off and take them out. So we CMP tie for the first Body Slam. Get that through. Absolutely no worries. Do they have another Hydro Cannon? Nope. There goes the Mud Shot. You see it come through. Next Body Slam comes through. Take them out. And we're going to take... Nope. They survive it. Oh, this is going to be scary. Can we Mud Shot down a Swampert before it Mud Shots us down? Very, very close. I said Mud Shot. We're going Thunder Shock, so it's resisted, but we take them out, take the win. Very, very close game. GG's. Geez, I feel like a broken record talking about all these same leads over and over again. Vigoroth, Mirror Match, same thing as usual. We see who wins the CMP tie and see who wins this matchup. We don't mind losing it. Let the first move go through. Completely fine. Just a Body Slam. If they shield up, we will match shields. But if they don't shield this and it goes through, you know, obviously we take them out. If they do shield it up, doesn't matter. We won't shield up. At that point, we'll take the shield advantage instead and bring in Pidgeot and get ready to Brave Bird whatever comes in afterwards. Double comes in to farm down our Vigoroth. We're a little bit scared of a Wild Charge, but I guess most doubles are going to run Payback and Body Slam, but honestly, Wild Charge double would be pretty spicy in this cup and would be really, really nice. We throw the Brave Bird, we just take them out. We could have swapped out, this is the thing. We were in a comfortable position to throw a Brave Bird and swap out, so why wouldn't we throw the Brave Bird? We get it through, we wipe them out, there's just Nidoqueen left in the back, so we can clear debuffs and bounce back and forth. The opponent surrenders. Okay, Victini lead. Victini is highly rated in this cup, but I didn't see many at all on my journey. The way I want to play this is you want to build up to a Bulldoze and see if they throw. When they throw, you shield up because it's probably V-Create. We decided to throw on 10 and we did CMP tie, which is absolutely perfect because we can force a shield before they swap out because they get to V-Create at the same pace you get to Body Slam. So we CMP tie on both, which means we force both shields out of them or take them out. Second Body Slam wipes them out, so now we're down a shield. They've got shield advantage, but we've taken out their Victini. We get their Vigoroth relatively low. We're going to bring in Pidgeot and just see what the opponent decides to do here, because even though they've got shield advantage, there aren't many things that can like one-shot us and stuff like that. So we're going to take the second Body Slam, no worries whatsoever. What's going to come in is staying with Vigoroth. So we're going to throw the Feather Dance, see if they let it through, see what's in the back. What's it going to be? It's going to be Obstagoon. Obstagoon with a shield advantage. We've got Vigoroth with mid health bar, Stunfisk with full health bar. We come in with Vigoroth, get a couple of slaps in, and they're going to throw Cross Chop straight away to take us out. That's no worries. So, shield advantage Obstagoon against Unova and Stunfisk. Now, I think what we're going to go for here is going to throw a Mud Bomb at first. No, throw the Discharge. We're going to see if the Discharge is going to two-shot them from the range that they're currently at. And it is. In fact, the Discharge does enough where another Mud Bomb will take them out. So now we can just go for double Mud Bomb. This is going to be very, very close. I believe they're one counter away from their last Night Slash, but we've got the Mud Bomb loaded. We're going to take them out. We're going to take the win. GG, very close game. And that's going to give us a 4 out of 5 set as well. That's going to get us all the way up to 2977 ELO. After this set, we had a 2 out of 5 that put us down to 2961. So we're at 2961 is where we're going to continue from, because we're going to continue on the positive sets and you guys seeing the matchups and pushing upwards. So next lead, Magcargo lead. Brilliant lead for Vigoroth. What are they going to swap out into? Assuming they do swap out their own Dubwool. So they're going to throw a Body Slam straight away as soon as they get it, which stalls out their switch timer a bit, which is a good advantage for them. It's a good thing to do if you're swapping out and the opponent doesn't match your swap straight away, is stalling the swap timer out. But what we decide to do is actually staying in this matchup because we're doing more damage over time than they are. They can't take Body Slam as well as we can, and we can force switch advantage, and we've still got Stunfisk to match their Magcargo. Stunfisk has a very good matchup against Magcargo in general, so we're not super stressed, and it means we can still keep Pidgeot away from this Magcargo. So we're probably in a good situation in the back. They swap out into Noctowl. We can just throw a Discharge, soften this thing up easily, and then we're going to build up extra energy before we swap into Pidgeot to try and catch a charge move. This means that Stunfisk is going to struggle to get to a Mud Bomb to finish off the Magcargo when it comes back in. We can hang on to our shield to force that situation to make sure that Stunfisk can definitely get its charge move off, and we can just throw, we actually overcharge, we expected to throw the Brave Bird at the last second so we got minimal farm on us, but we threw way too late and nearly made an absolute mess up in this game. They get an Incinerate through and we throw the Mud Bomb. We're praying it knocks them out. It does, but then we have a Discharge loaded as well for the Noctowl, so we almost screwed that game up. But we were in a very comfortable win position anyway, and we did just nearly throw it away like a absolute fool. But, you know, you're nervous, you're close to Legend rank, you make some mistakes. I've been playing for quite a long time at this point. Like I said, this is like my 9th or 10th set in a row that I've been playing, so you're getting a bit fatigued with the game as well. But Noctowl lead, same plan as usual. We throw the Body Slams and then try and catch a Sky Attack. We actually don't swap again. We're sweating. The last set, we're very, very close to Legend rank, 2961. So we showed up the Sky Attack. They swap out to Vigoroth. We're going to go ahead and throw a Body Slam at them before we swap out into our Pidgeot. We get that shield back, which is kind of nice. Are they going to throw Body Slam at us? They are. We're going to throw the Brave Bird straight away. They're not going to show this up right. They're not going to be expecting it. Bang. Right. We're on track to bring this situation back. Miltank comes in. It's going for an aggressive farm down. We go for the Brave Bird. We do make it. We don't have to go for Feather Dance. Big damage our shield. We get the shield. Right. Decent situation. Some Miltanks run Ice Beam, which isn't ideal for Stunfisk. It's going to be super effective, but I don't think this Miltank's running Ice Beam. That's why we showed up at first. We're expecting an Ice Beam to come through straight away and expecting it to be the hardest hitting charge move left. They try and catch on Noctowl. We go for a crazy aggressive farm down, which we know we can get because Noctowl's energy dry, and now we've got 100 energy to dump Discharges into this thing. We don't want to swap into Vigoroth. Although the counters are super effective, we're very low, we'll get farmed down. It'll give them extra energy to potentially get more Body Slams off on Stunfisk. We're just going to go for these charge moves, take them out, and we're going to take the win. GG. So, sloppy plays aside, we're still on track. What's next? Talonflame lead. Not a good lead for Vigoroth. They're resisting the counters, but also Talonflame's pretty squishy. So we're going to stay in. We're just going to throw a Body Slam just before they get to the Brave Bird, and then we're going to swap to Stunfisk. We figure Talonflame's probably going to throw a Brave Bird and swap out, and they do. We catch a Brave Bird, absolutely fantastic for us, but we are met with the dreaded Grass type. But it's a Jumpluff, which means that the electric attacks are actually neutral from us at least, so we can do a little bit of damage. We're going to just let this through. It's probably an energy ball. It is an energy ball. It's not quite going to take us out, but it's going to put us in Fairy Wind farm down range, which isn't ideal for us, but you know what? We're just going to keep on trucking. They farm us down entirely, that's fine. We're going to bring in Pidgeot and start getting ahead on energy because the wing attacks are going to be super effective. Shut up the acrobatics, which is a very nice call for us. Watch the charge moves here. We get Feather Dance, we tap it, and then we have to tap it again, and it throws an extra wing attack instead of throwing the Feather Dance when we tapped it, which means that Talonflame gets a whole extra Incinerate through. This can be devastating when handling a Talonflame, but what they're going to choose to do here is they're going to choose to throw a Brave Bird, and that means we can wing attack them down entirely because they're low enough, so the damage is mitigated a little bit apart from the little bit of extra Incinerate damage that we took in the meantime. So now we're very loaded on energy. What are they going to bring in here? We're going for the Brave Bird anyway. Just throw it straight off the bat. It's a Noctowl. We get the shield, and now we can clear that debuff, bring in Vigoroth. And as I said, there's a very nice strategy towards the end of the game. If you've got 2 Pokemon left, you throw the Brave Bird, you swap out, you clear that debuff. Right. Throw a Body Slam. We've got 2 loaded here. We're going to get them very, very low and probably put them into wing attack down range possibly, or at least into Feather Dance range. They're going to swap out into Jumpluff to try and snipe us. It's not quite enough. We're going to get to a Body Slam and take out the Jumpluff, and now we're primed to win this game because this Noctowl's not going to quite be able to take us out. It needs to get to 2 Sky attacks, and we should just be able to finish them off. It's very, very close. I think it's even a CMP tie there. I'm not sure. Feather Dance comes through. We take them out, and we're going to take that win in this game. It's lagging a little bit again, so you can tell connection was shoddy in that game for sure. But into the second to last matchup, right, we get Dubwool on the lead. Pretty good lead for Vigoroth. Like, you're both hitting each other for super effective fighting fast moves. Blech, my voice is going. And we both got neutral body slams to throw at each other. But Vigoroth is a little bit bulkier, and double kick doesn't hit quite as hard. So our work is going to add up a little bit faster. We're making sure to throw at the right moment so that they're not sneaking through extra double kicks. So we get both shields out of them. Now we've got both shields, we're like, well, let's just go through. We can survive another body slam. That's completely fine. And then we decide to let this go. We've got 2 shields out of him. We're just going to farm down with Pidgeot and Brave Bird the living hell out of whatever has the balls to come in to meet us. We might have to take a body slam here. That's completely fine. We're not too worried about that. We're going to save the shield and see what's got the most play in the back. So we've got a Brave Bird loaded. And here comes an Ice type. I think it might be a... is it Pillar Swine? It is a Pillar Swine. Boom! Brave Bird absolutely annihilates them, but they're not knocked out yet. And they're pretty low, but they might still make it to an Avalanche. So we swap out to Stunfisk to clear the debuff. We're met with the obstacle, and we're not going to shield in this matchup. Not going to shield up at all. We see the Discharge does about the same damage it does to Vigoroth. I wasn't sure on the overall bulk of Vigoroth, but it is... I'm sorry, on Obstacle, but it's similar to Vigoroth. So we could just go for 3 Mud Bombs rather than a Discharge and 2 Mud Bombs, but we decide... whatever, it all works out. We get to 2 Mud Bombs and the Discharge. We're going to take them out. We need to swap back to Pidgeot as fast as possible because we know we can possibly make it to a Feather Dance if they do throw an Avalanche. We don't want them too far ahead on energy. We take them out, we take the win. Okay, we've won 4 out of 4 battles in this set so far. We need the 5th to guarantee the 40 points to make the push to Legend rank. We're very close otherwise. Shadow Jumpluff lead. This is a terrible lead because we can't bring Stunfisk into this. We've only got Pidgeot that really is a good answer to it. Vigoroth is kind of on the back foot here, but we're just hoping that handling it with Vigoroth is going to clear the path enough for Stunfisk to deal in the back. We're not going to shield. Energy Ball hits pretty hard. That's pretty hard hitting move. We're going to go for another Body Slam. The crazy thing about Jumpluff is that even the Shadow survives 2 Body Slams from Vigoroth very comfortably. We're going to let this go. We're not too stressed. We've got it fairly low. A lot of the work's done. We're going to bring in Pidgeot, farm down. Same strategy. They swap out aggressively, and we get the bug where the opponent's sprite is invisible. And you see we're getting the visual bug on the charge moves now as well. It's a Steelix that comes in. We can see in the top right of the corner, it still names it, and it is Steelix. So, we're in a pretty scary situation. This could be Earthquake. They built up enough energy. It is an Earthquake. Great shield. That puts us in a good situation because it takes Steelix quite a while to get to Earthquake. So we can get quite a bit of energy here now and hopefully deal with this thing. We're a bit worried they have another answer for Pidgeot in the back because they swapped out so aggressively into Steelix. But we're just going to have to see. We're going to have to gamble on that. There's nothing else we can do. They go for a Poison Fang debuff. No worries. Don't need to shield. They hadn't built up enough energy for Earthquake, so there was no way we had to shield that up. Could have been Crunch, but still, that would have been fine. They bring in the Jumpluff. We've got enough excess energy to throw a Discharge at this thing and hopefully take it out. We do. Right. Now we swap straight out to Pidgeot. Doesn't matter what the hell is back here. We just debuff the crap out of it with Feather Dance and hope for the best. They're still invisible. We've still got the bug on the charge move buttons. But if you look at the top right, it's a Moltres. It's the only Moltres I saw in this run up to Legend Rank. And this is the last battle. We have to shield up because they throw Ancient Power. It's going to be super effective, and that will do big damage to Pidgeot because Moltres is so attack weighted even while it's getting debuffed. We get the second Feather Dance debuff off, and you can see these wing attacks are really adding up on the Moltres. We're getting it super, super low. Here comes another charge move. We're expecting this to take us out. It doesn't quite because we quadruple debuffed them. We're going to get to the Feather Dance because we don't have the energy for a Brave Bird, and it's going to just take them out. We're going to take the win by a sliver because Stunfisk did not have enough health left to do much in that game for sure. But a super fun, spicy matchup for the last one to get us that push over the finish line to Legend Rank, and we are going to go up to 3030 ELO, so pretty comfortably into the 3000 ELO range. And there you have it. That's the team. That's how it works. That's how it got me there. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let me know if you've got any questions down below, and I will see all of you absolute legends next time.